Okay, sorry, I have some bad news for you. Everything you've been taught about how to create success in life is a big lie. I always thought that if I went to school and I studied really hard and I was a perfect student and I got straight A's and then I went to college and got out there and got the perfect job and worked really hard, that someday I'd end up with this really successful, happy life. And the truth is, I followed that path and it didn't really get me to the place that I hoped. I worked really hard and I had a really great job, but I got burnt out. I got overwhelmed. I got stressed out. I wasn't really feeling well. And ultimately, I just wasn't happy. And it's interesting because I've always really wanted to follow my passion in life. But I figured if I just followed this protocol that was laid out before me, that somehow magically it would show up. And it didn't. It's funny, I still remember when I would be all dressed in my suit going to work and I'd stop at this coffee shop in the morning. I'd be waiting in line, I'd be kind of surveying the people that were in there, and it seemed like a lot of people were just kind of enjoying themselves, hanging out, whether it was moms hanging out with their kids or people just meeting with friends. And there was this one guy in particular, his name was Tom. I still remember Tom because even though I didn't know him personally, he kind of embodied this person who seemed to have figured it all out, or who had maybe figured another way. He'd be on his laptop just working, and he'd be talking to other people, reading the newspaper. Sometimes he would take a couple calls, and he was dressed in casual gear, and then suddenly he would announce, "I'm off to the gym." And he'd take off in his nice car, and I'm thinking to myself, what does this guy do? And I actually never really found out, but it started me on this path of knowing that there must be another way. There must be another way to not only create that freedom and really have your own schedule like Tom did, but for me, it was also a burning desire to do something meaningful, to follow my passion in life and create this freedom. And I'm thinking to myself, is there any way this is possible, that these two things could actually collide and come together? In a way, it was kind of a dark time for me because I had no idea how I was going to get to that place, or even if it was really possible for me. I didn't have anyone else around me in my life that had somehow found their purpose in life and followed their passion and was doing something that they really loved to wake up to every day. But there was just something in my heart, and I knew that I had to see if there was a way. I at least had to prove it to myself. So I would spend the weekends just researching. I'd be at my computer. I was finally off from my day job and I had a couple hours to myself. And I would just look into everything and anything. I was always researching different careers. And actually, I even went to a career counselor once. I would sit in on college classes, just hoping somebody would say something this is how you do it. That never happened. But what did happen was that one day I suddenly stumbled upon the field of health and wellness coaching. And I'm like, what's this? It sounds really amazing, help people to live a healthy life. And I was already living really a natural kind of holistic life myself. And so that really rang true with me. Set your own hours, create your own schedule, start your own business. Sounded almost too good to be true, but it really resonated with me. And I decided that I only have one life to live. I'm going for it. And I did. I took the leap and I just went for the job, or I just took the leap and I went for this new path, just hoping and praying that it would work out. And it was such an exciting time. And it was just really thrilling to know hey, there is another way. And so I was really excited to get my training done and to go to school to get this other education. And ultimately, I ended up leaving my old day job behind. In fact, I still remember handing in my resignation letter to my boss, and the look on his face, it was just one of total confusion. Who goes to follow their passion in life? This doesn't sound right. But it was thrilling and it was really exciting. And then one day it wasn't that thrilling and exciting. It was actually scary because I had taken this big leap and I had invested basically my last dime to make this happen for myself. And now I had left my day job and, the bills were starting to add up and I really didn't have any way to make money. I thought if I had just, again, kind of followed the path that was put before me, do what they say. I applied my whole straight A student to my new field too. I was like, okay, I'll read all the books. I'll do all the assignments. And I thought, okay, I'll be able to be successful. But I wasn't. I was wondering, how am I going to make this work? And there was really this moment where I was wondering, again, how I was going to pay the bills, but also this moment of, am I going to go back and get the day job, or am I going to figure this out? Yeah, so I was determined to figure it out, and little by little I did. And I took copious notes. I just tracked everything I was doing, and again, I was just totally committed and dedicated. I wasn't going to give up. And all of a sudden I started attracting clients. I was getting speaking gigs. I was being asked to be in the media, and these opportunities were happening. And it wasn't because they just showed up. It was because I was diligently putting myself out there. And at the same time, I was working on my business and tracking everything I was doing. And it was amazing. Things were finally taking off. And then, I guess out of nowhere, kind of out of the blue, it was odd, other coaches, other health and wellness coaches, life coaches, holistic practitioners started contacting me and asking me if I could help them. And I was like, I don't know, can I? They're like, well, you're so successful. You've obviously figured this out. Can you help us? And there was one person in particular, her name was Sarah, and she wanted me to help her. And I kind of reluctantly did. I mean, I was really busy with my practice, but I was like, okay, I'll kind of show you on the side what I've done. And it was really inspiring, because she was able to take my systems and what I had done and apply it to her own passion and her own practice, and watch it turn around and finally take off for her. And then after that, more and more people kind of started lining up, asking me to help them. And so I did. I did help them, and it was like a side business that I had going while I was really busy with my own practice. But ultimately, there kind of became this tipping point where there were so many practitioners and coaches who really needed this help. And I realized that I would actually be able to make a bigger impact by helping them to create success, using my systems and getting my support, and reaching a lot more people that way with this really important message of health and wellness. So if I had to give you some advice about really what is the path to creating success and following your passion and really creating a lifestyle that you love, it's definitely not what they told you when you were a kid. It really comes down to three things. First of all, you have to take the leap at some point. Right? Even if you're doing something you don't love now and you know there's kind of another way, at some point you have to take the leap. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. So at some point, yes, you just got to go for it. And when you take that leap, it's a sign of your commitment. And then you got to keep that commitment going. So that's the second thing. You got to bring that commitment to whatever you decide it is you want to do. And you got to stick with it, because it doesn't magically appear. When you take the leap and commit, that's when things get even more interesting. But the good news is you can do it, especially if you do the third thing, which is to get support. The only way to really create success is to get support and to learn from someone who has gone on the path before you, so that they can pull you along and show you the way, and that you can have that guidance and really be fully supported as you take the step to really following your passion in life.